All right, hello. Hey, Woody. See that you're here. Probably have to wait a few minutes. So get ready because we're about to take it to the mic stand. Let me just check one more thing here. All right, let me just go off camera for a quick moment here. Yeah, so with the debate going on, there were a lot of streams. Oh wow, you went. You look like you may have left me there, Woody. Ah, on with the show. This is it. Turn the lights on with the show. This is it. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. Have a yabba dabba do time. From the town of Bedrock, there's a place right out of history. That's right, with the family down the street. Room turn let it be. When you're with the Flintstones, have a yabba dabba do time. A dabba do time. Have a gay old time. Ah, you're back. Two people again. Yeah. So Woody, how's your day going? How's your last couple of days going? Because I don't think I saw you in here last night. Hmm. So you do anything exciting over the last couple of days, or is this a new person who's in here? Dealing with some life issues you don't want to know. Fair enough. Um, um, so did you happen to watch the debate at all last night? I know normally I don't talk politics, but the debates were a pretty big deal, even with the mess that it was. Things are going well. Hurry up and wait. Us, the order of the, I guess, day. Yes, with Nick and Ty commenting, it was bearable to watch. Is the order of the day? Yeah. All right, that makes more sense. Is the order? Um, yeah, I mean, I even before I started my stream, I tried to watch some of the coverage, but even I was a little disappointed. But you know, a lot of people were saying it was like the worst debate in history. But then after watching Dan Bongino's podcast earlier today, even though I kind of had a feeling this is what was going on, but Bongino somewhat confirmed it for me. I think a big part of it was everybody was upset that President Trump kept interrupting Joe Biden. But I think that was actually a deliberate plan. I think he was trying to throw Biden off by doing it. He just like really bearing into him, trying to force him into. Actually, he did end up forcing him into, making some statements, and you know, I think Trump himself even said, "You lost the left," because he actually got Joe Biden to sit there and say, "No, I'm not for the Green Deal. I'm not for packing the courts. I'm not for the," So I think I'm packing the courts. Joe just stayed away from that, but Trump was being constantly interrupted by Mike. Well, okay, it's not Mike Wallace; it's Mike's son, Chris Wallace. First off, but there was a lot of interrupting going around. It was, you're gonna hear me one of these rare times where I'm gonna actually use a swear word here. Um, but last night's debate was pretty much a clusterfuck. Normally, I don't swear. Normally, I don't, but in this case, it's apropos. Um, After that happened 5 times, Trump started doing it too. Well, Trump was doing it before. They Everybody was doing it, but I think in Trump's case, it was actually part of a strategy to try to knock Joe off balance. Well, Boomer me remembers his daddy. Yep, I know, I know. There's actually also a NASCAR race car driver by the name of Mike Wallace. So um, that's somewhat of a common name. Excuse me one more moment here. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I was a bit disappointed too because I was a bit disappointed too because I was basically hoping they would have stayed on point and on task and stuff like that. But um, one of the other points like Dan Bongino was making earlier today too is that nor most years, most presidential election years, you have 40% who are Republican, 40% Democrat. Those are people going to vote their party no matter what. And you're usually fighting um, for the 20% that are in the middle. That you're usually fighting for the 20. But as Bongino was pointing out, this is not that type of election. This is what he's calling base election, getting your base out. Because by now, I think as he pointed out, I think by now everybody's pretty much already decided who they're going to vote for. There's not much, I think, you know, I don't really think there's going to be much of substance that you're going to find. I still think that Trump, in many ways, won on substance and style, but and again, it was, but as I said, they were all interrupting each other. It wasn't just Trump. But, um, Joe was allowed to interject, e.g., Corona, but when Trump did it, Wallace called fouls. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, Wallace was trying to sit there and control it, and it was just not. It's just one of those nights where it was not going to be controlled. I think Trump went in there with a game plan to disrupt. Fake news is never going to report what really happened. They clip show the parts that fit their narrative, which is true. True, he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. That would just make me want to vote for him twice. Yeah, I mean, you know, I was a little, as I said, I was a little disappointed in it because I would have hoped that they would have talked more on substance. I would hope Trump, because, like, if you notice too, a lot of times like, for example, they keep saying that Trump doesn't have a healthcare plan, and I don't think that's true. He does have a replacement plan, and he did talk about it a little bit with the prescription drugs. Just it became such a debacle, as some people called it, that he didn't really get much out there. And I think, on the ground, I think, as I said, I think it was a strategy on Trump's part to try to unbalance Joe, try to get him going to a mistake. But as some people were commenting, I think the theory was whoever Biden's doctors are give him some kind of shot to keep him lucid throughout the night. So let's see now. Yeah. So, anyways, still only the two of us, huh? ATC's not in here. Well, I hope everything's all right with ATC, and well, anonymity will probably be here soon, hopefully. But um, excuse me a moment here. Let's see. Joe was bunting softballs from Wallace, and Wallace was interrupting Trump all night. Well, again, everybody was interrupting there. It wasn't, you know, Wallace was interrupt. Wallace interrupted them both, but yeah, I would say that he did seem at times to like be siding with Biden, but then again, what people have to understand too is Fox isn't the conservative stand bearer that it once was, that it was like 10, 15 years ago. Okay. A lot of people still talk about Fox in a way that saying that they're like right, right wing, quote unquote, right wing. But and even though their primetime lineup still generally is like Hannity, Ingram, Carlson, those and Brain, they're all still relatively conservative. I think you have some of the libertarian people like Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld who are still favor of Trump. But when Rupert's sons, Lachlan and Clan, I believe are their names, when they took over, they're not really they're neocons. They're not like their dad. Okay, they're neocons, along with like Jared Kushner and Ivanka. So let's see. 5 nights a week, maybe spreading yourself thin. Wallace said 5 nights a week, maybe spreading you thin. Wallace set the pace by doing the first of several interruptions. Well, yeah, I mean, again, I think sometimes it does feel that way because last night I kind of was little more time. There are times when I get a little bit more drained. I don't have, and I can understand how some people may not want to come in every night, but I still like doing this. You know, um, you know, um, because news happens every night, so every day. So let's see now. It looks like just you and me thus far. Give it till the 20-minute. We're at the 16-minute mark. At 20 minutes, I'll go ahead and get started at that point. I got a couple of news stories for tonight. Excuse me one moment while I go off camera here. All right, I'm back. But the fact that I am going, the only one who, well, Nick goes 5 nights almost every week, so I'm not in bad company there. Tug at one point was going, 5 days a week. He's kind of cut back, um, but and especially with like Tug and Yellow Flash covering more mainstream media stuff, I wanted to get more into the classic cartoons in it. You know, so yeah, excuse me one more time here. So yeah, and I know normally I don't get into politics too much, but I felt like talking a little bit about last night's debate, just you know because more from the entertainment aspect of it. Um, but overall, I try to stay away from politics just because it can be quite a contentious thing, and I'd rather focus on things that we can all agree on and have fun with, like anime, cartoons, comics, manga. You know, I understand. I think there are people like EBS, maybe Raging Golden. Well, even Raging Golden Eagle. Some guys have been mixing it up more and bringing more politics into it. I know Quartering recently had decided to start doing more politics again. Um, Micah Curtis always does politics, but he splits. He does like two um, streams: one that focuses on politics, the other that focuses on comics. So I figured, and plus one of the things when I started uploading videos too, this was back in the height of during Vic's TCPA, or his defamation suit and all that, and I wanted to do something a little bit different from what everybody else was doing in terms of the news coverage there. I wanted to focus more on positive things. So let's see. Trump volunteered to take the stunner. Enough said. He got my vote. Yeah. Yeah. Trump, like with what he's done during his first presidency, he got my vote. I'll be quite honest with you. I didn't vote for Trump the first time around. I actually voted for Darrell Castle, who was the Constitution Party candidate back in 2016, because my issue with Trump is whether or not he was going to be was he going to my position my thing was I thought he was more part of the establishment. I thought he was going to be you know because he had just switched back to a Republican Party. He started out I think as a Republican, then was like a Democrat, then a Reform Party, and then went back to Democrat, and then So he's bounced around party affiliations. It's kind of funny how all the Democrats are attacking him now when it wasn't. It was like maybe what 3, 4, 5 years ago they were buddy buddy with him. So it just goes to show you, you want to talk about cancel culture. When he decided to run as a Republican and he was more espousing conservative values, all of a sudden he's no longer their buddy. Now he's the enemy. So think about that a bit. Yeah. Let's see. So we're actually past the 20-minute mark here. We're having a good conversation about Trump and all that, but anyways, I figured it's probably time to move on from that. It's a good kind of introductory topic to talk about. Again, the only reason I was talking about it is more from the entertainment aspect of it. Um, there's going to be another couple. Let's see. The other two presidential debates will be the 15th and the 22nd, and then I think next week they're going to have the first of the VP debates between Pence and Harris. So um, I don't think that one will be as quite as contentious, but you never you never know. Um, if Mitt or McCain had won, the Dems would have made up crap to attack them just as much. Now they pretend they didn't do it to Bush, Reagan, and well, okay. Here's one of the other funny things too, and this is something I just recently noticed too. And this and over the whole Supreme Court nomination issue, this has been getting said a lot. Well, we won the election in 16, so we're the ones in power now, and the president has voted for 4 years, not 3.5. Okay. Um, but it's kind of funny because it's more or less the same thing that Obama. If you, I don't know if you remember this, but did you remember when they were trying to put together the Obamacare and all that? And there was that one point where Obama told told McCain, uh, "I won the election, and elections have consequences." Well, now they're getting they're getting that thrown back in their face now. You know, don't know if you remember that, but notice how 9/11 was an inside job, disappeared once Bush Jr. was gone. Yeah. Well, you notice too that as you call him Bush Jr. or Bush 43 or whatever you want to call him, um, it's now he's buddy buddy with Obama and Clinton, whereas before he was the scum of the earth to them. See how the winds change? You know, they were talking about trying to, you know, they were trying to like, get Bush 43 on quote unquote war crimes for this stuff. But now he's like Obama and Clinton's best friend. So, and let me, of course, once again remind you too that Obama told McCain, we won the election, and elections have consequences. So, but anyways, let's move on from the political stuff here. Even if it is just the two of us tonight, that's cool. Let's move on from the political stuff just because, you know, why get ourselves all agitated and mad and stuff. So anyway, so let me first talk about what's on tap for tonight. So as I said, I have a couple of these are more actually from television stuff. Have some adult swim news. And I know Yellow Flash covered this, um I guess on Netflix some of the episodes from shows like Boondocks and Aqua Teen Hunger Force were being censored or removed. It looks like we have a third person joining us already. Hello, third person. Uh, Dave Marks. Hey, hey. Sorry I'm late. No problem, Dave. You're here. I'm glad you're here. We were just talking about the debate last night, but I was closing that out a bit. If you want to hear some of my thoughts on it, you can always rewatch the parts of the stream you missed earlier. Because I do keep my streams up. Um, Anyways, we're moving on to some more pleasant news, which is this case is going to be more like cartoon television news. As I was just talking about, um, first story I'm going to look at is some Adult Swim news. I know Yellow Flash covered it a little bit too, in terms of how Netflix is, I guess, censoring or cut or leaving out episodes of like Boondocks because of cultural sensitivity or sensitiveness or whatever. And then also, Marvel Studios announced their casting for their Ms. Marvel series, how they wanted to be true to the character. Albeit, what I don't think they understand, of course, is that the original Miss Marvel was actually Carol Danvers, who they made into Captain Marvel in order to Marvel Comics Captain Marvel. So, without any further ado, then let's get to the first story here. Let me just pull that up. So here's the first of the two stories I'm going to cover tonight. And you see Milkshake and Fry and Meatball there from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Adult Swim permanently retires episodes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force and the Boondocks due to cultural sensitivities. And I know Yellow Flash really had a big issue with this, because just saying how people don't seem to have a sense of humor anymore, which probably true. Excuse me for one moment here. Hey, I'm back. So let's get started with this then. Here's the first article of the night. The popular Cartoon Network programming block, Adult Swim, has announced that various episodes from several of their animated series have been permanently retired from streaming and broadcast due to cultural sensitivities. Adult Swim's attempt to erase these episodes from the public consciousness was first discovered in June when Aqua Teen Hunger Force fans noticed that the episode Shake Like Me, in which Master Shake gradually begins to turn into a stereotypical black person, after being bitten by a radioactive black man, had suddenly been removed from HBO Max and Adult Swim's official website. Curiously, the episode made a brief reappearance on HBO Max in August before being swiftly removed from the streaming service once more. I guess here's the clip of that. The Master Shake there with the fro and the necklace there. Um, Still effects. Shortly thereafter, um, fans found that the Moondocks episode, The Story of Jimmy Rebel, which had previously been banned from broadcast by Adult Swim due to the heavy use of satirical racist humor, was also unavailable for streaming on HBO Max. When reached for comment, an HBO Max representative informed the Daily Beast that Shake Like Me and The Story of Jimmy Rebel were unavailable because neither of those episodes are part of our streaming deals. Get back Silverback. However, in a separate statement, a representative for Adult Swim contradicted HBO Max and told the news outlet that the episodes had been permanently retired due to cultural sensitivities. Let's see if you guys have anything to say since I've been reading this. Let's see. Based on their metrics, they may have to get rid of every episode of the Boondocks, like every episode, depending on depending on their metrics. Um, yeah, well, one of the points Yellow Flash was making too about it was particularly with the Boondocks. Okay, and I know a lot of talk's been about the Boondocks doing, some of it being some of the more racial or racist stereotypes. Um, but the Boondocks was actually created by a black man. The producer, I believe the producer, from what I understand, the producer, we have a fourth person here. Yay! Somebody else got in here. The producers of the Boondocks, the guys who created it, um, hi Dave, great to see you. Um, the creators of the Boondocks are actually black, so they're kind of making fun of themselves, if anything. And I think one of the points that Yellow Flash was making was, well, is by shutting down those episodes, isn't that actually being racist against the creators of Boondocks, who are black? So that's an interesting little tidbit to think about. Anyways, back to the story here. When Adult Swim transitions series to a new platform, we determine what episodes are selected through creative and cultural filters and our standards and practices, policies. The Adult Swim representative explained, oftentimes these decisions are made in collaboration with the show's creators. Now, just a bit of an interesting tidbit here for you guys too. Just because they get banned and you get banned from certain streams and certain streaming sites doesn't mean that they're like completely banned. Okay, there are sites that have it, I'm sure. You just need to go look for them. YouTube might still have them. I do know YouTube has banned episodes of banned cartoons from like the 40s and 50s. that were considered. They have cartoons that by Looney Tunes and Popeye that are now banned, and Betty Boop that are now banned. But you can still find those because a lot of those cartoons are public domain too. Find those cartoons on YouTube. Just look up banned cartoons on YouTube. Um, I know, like for example, there's episode of Popeye, I believe a Fleischer Studio. I think it was from early '40s or something like that, called "You're a Sap, Mister Jap," which which actually banned now from being cynic. So even when, like, I think Cartoon Network had it, they still weren't showing it. Um, but there are ways to still watch those episodes if you really want to watch them, because I don't think that they can totally take them off. Riley and Uncle Ruckus could easily offend the easily offended. Yeah. And I don't think there's an episode that doesn't have one of the two in them. Yeah, well, actually, yeah, I think that's kind of, well, not as much with Riley, but with Uncle Ruckus. Um, I think Yellow Flash is making that point too. Dave, is that when he was doing his videos on this, um, that in fact, I guess one of the things is they're rebooting the whole series. In fact, and he was asking if Uncle Ruckus was even going to be a part of this new series. You know, because now they're looking to reboot the series altogether on HBO Max, according to Yellow Flash. Bugs Bunny, Nips the Nips, yeah, um, yeah. But I mean, again, I mean, even if you know Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, HBO Max, even if they do decide to ban these episodes, they're out there. You just if you really want if you're really a fan of those shows, you just have to go look for them. I'm sure they'll still be on somewhere. We have 5 people now. Yay! See, people are coming in now. Um, excuse me a moment. So, continuing on with the story here. Then the representative informed the Daily Beast that the programming block had temporarily rested an episode of the stop motion series The Shivering Truth out of respect to sensitivity around current events. Um, but also noted that the episode will be returning to the site and included when the series debuts on HBO Max. Now, one of the other things that I know Yellow Flash talked about too, some of these episodes may come back into the rotation. There is enough of a, let's say, backlash. But what will probably happen if they do come back to the streaming sites, they'll have a trigger warning on them. Hey, it's anonymity. And hey, just getting home. Hey, anonymity. Evening, Anon. So everybody's getting in slowly but surely here. And for those of you who have come in a little late, you guys, I keep my streams up so you can always go back and check out what you missed earlier in the night if you want to. So, of course, when the stream's done here. Um, anyways, continuing, turning on here. Let's see. And included when the series debuts. Okay. In the removed episode of The Shivering Truth, an ogled inklings and ogled inklings. A doctor exclaims, okay, okay, in the removed episode of The Shivering Truth and Oglod Inklings, which I guess is the name of the episode, a doctor exclaims in horror after delivering a woman's child that she has given birth to a dirty pig and reveals that her son has come out of the womb wearing a police hat. Ha 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 ha. Unsurprisingly, the removal of these episodes did not sit well with fans, who took to social media to voice their frustration and confusion over the programming block's seemingly hypocritical decision to promote sensitivity by censoring the work of a black creator. What I was talking about with the Boondocks, basically. Um, Adult Swim does an entire spiel about how Black Lives Matter (BLM) is epic, but then uh, manure cans the Boondocks for being insensitive. Observed Twitter user at Paragon Deku. And I believe that Yellow Flash quoted this guy's tweets too about this. Um, yeah, that does almost seem hypocritical, as I was pointing out earlier. Um, User at Rika Noodles noted how the voice actor for Frylock, who is black, has had to use multiple GoFundMe's to not go homeless and repair his house because Adult Swim refuses to pay him royalties and sarcastically encouraged Adult Swim to keep censoring cartoons for those sweet, epic virtue signaling points. Uh, and their responses, of course, are to media, the mediate tweet. Okay, before reading the next part here, let's see if you guys are saying anything of interest here. Let's see. Okay. What is this? My identity. First story has been um, Cartoon Channel removing some eps of Teen Hunger Force, as well as Boondocks and The Shivering Truth. Oh, actually, before most of you guys got on, we were even talking about the debate last night. Woody and I were before you guys all got here as well. So, Adult Swim is hiding certain episodes of shows to be more sensitive. Good explanation, guys. Thank you for picking up the slack where I can't because I'm focusing on getting the story out. Being sensitive, but not enough to pay people what they're owed. Yep, it's kind of funny. A lot of these virtue signaler, virtue, virtue signalers will cry racism, but yet act racist themselves. It's kind of hypocritical. Anyways, excuse me one more moment, you guys. Sorry. Anyways, I'm back now. So back to the story here, then on to the next. Okay, after pointing out that the Boondocks was written and produced by a black man, user Clockworks RZA asked, "Doesn't this count as Adult Swim silencing black creatives?" Good question. As criticism and backlash continued to mount against Adult Swim for their decision, Adult Swim senior vice president and creative director Jason DeMarco took to his personal Twitter account in order in order to insult and antagonize upset fans. Uh, Guys with usernames like PP and Poo Poo oh God, are super pissed about this. So let me save you some time, wrote DeMarco. I don't have anything to do with these decisions. I don't care. And complaining to me won't change any of it. Hope that hope that helps. Yeah, he's the way he and he goes by the Twitter handle Spiral Curse DeMarco. Okay. Yeah. Way to talk to your fans there, Jason. You're real cool there. Yeah. In response to the aforementioned user at PP and Do and Poo, um, who joked that these actions were censoring their black creators, DeMarco argued that 99% of these comments are racist mad about our BLM piece who now think they have a club to hit back with, and taunted critics to stay mad. Yeah, way to go there, Mr. DeMarco. Way of flipping the bird to half your fan base. Yeah, why don't you keep that up and see what happens? If there's anything new here, you guys. They're projectionists hiding their own BS from everyone. Yep. The senior vice president has no say. Weak. He probably does have a say, but actually agrees with you know this is okay. I'm gonna show you guys what I believe um Jason DeMarco's response in the meetings is to this. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we can't be insensitive. So I'm gonna bow my head to you and pray and you know pray to the gods of you know these guys are oh ah actually I should put that in its full context there, Dave. The senior vice president has no say. Weak. Uh, DeMarco seems to be marginalizing um, copophiliacs, like copophili- like me, poo poo. Oh wait, maybe marginalizing copophiliacs. Oh, like, oh God, and poo very insane. Oh my! Wait a sec. Okay, is that a joke, Woody, or are you serious? And if you are, you really think you wanted to admit that here? Granted, we're all guys here, as far as I know. Okay. And just in case people don't know what the word that Woody used there, copophiliac. Um, a copophile is basically somebody who gets arousal from the waste product that comes out of your you know where. So that's dull, like Mr. Poop Proofreading. Like Okay, I figured it was a typo, but I was like sitting there thinking to myself, "Oh man, you didn't just admit that on the stream." Yeah, even the anonymity there's laughing. Uh $10 word meaning people who love poop. Yeah, and I just explained it as well. So yes, the suffix "file" means arousal. Basically, we hear it a lot with "p file." You know. Anyways, joke. Yeah, fecal-philic. Well, that's another word for it. Yeah, I guess you could call it that as well. But I think but I do think the actual technical term for it, anonymity, is kappa kapophilic, which I don't know why that is, but that is the official word. I know this for a fact because I actually took years ago a human sexuality class, and we did talk about different fetishes in there. So, anyways, I kind of figured the scientific term for poo lover, would have involved the term feces. You learn something new every day. Yeah, you do. Fecophilia is a shout out to South Park. Okay, well, okay, fair enough. And people will at times, you know, create terms, out of frustration or what have you. So, anyways, moving on. That was a very interesting topic. That's a very interesting tangent we kind of touched upon there. Uh, anyway, so back to the article here. Oh, wait, okay, so I've already read that part. I guess this is the tweet that he was probably remarking on here. Yup, I made this decision. It was all me. Busted. 99%. Okay, we actually did read all that. Mr. Snoid 2-1, who goes by the Twitter handle at PP and Poo. Anyways, so moving on then here a bit. DeMarco would ultimately dismiss the criticism against Adult Swim as a bunch of bros with 30 followers and anime avatars screaming into the void about hypocrisy because some episodes of TV shows were pulled off a streaming service. Good Lord, grow up, he gloated. Yeah, well, maybe you should follow your own advice there, DeMar. Yeah, maybe you should look in the mirror and follow your own advice. Almost a device, but let's see. Let's see. Uh, Copro is from the Greek copro, meaning dung. Thanks, Wikipedia. Okay, well, thank you for looking that up, Dave. That's pretty good. Um, I always read it as copophilia, COPPO, but maybe it is coprophilia. Sorry, copros. DeMarco sounds like a lame hypocrite. Now I want to name a villain character Copros. Interesting discussions we sometimes have, huh, guys? Now we've gone on to this tangent about coprophilia or coprophilia, whatever you want to call it. Uh, another kind of side joke there too is you think about it, copophile or copophilia. It kind of sounds like copophile, if you get what I mean. Imagine putting those two concepts together, huh? Yuck, 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 yuck. Uh, uh, I love etymology. Yeah, words always have very interesting stories behind them. You look hard enough. Anyways, moving on. The next paragraph here. However, these tweets were soon deleted, with DeMarco admitting that they were a bridge too far. Bad call on my part to get snippy, DeMarco said. Bad days in life can easily turn into bad days on Twitter if you let them. I keep needing to relearn this lesson over and over again, but being negative on here just brings you negativity. Duh! That's part of the reason why I got off Twitter. Because Twitter is a sack of manure. Uh, let's see. Nope. Ha ha ha. Coward. Okay. I know you're probably calling DeMarco a coward there, I would guess. I think what happened was when he realized the backlash and like realized just the potential consequences, he realized, oh boy, I probably don't want to be engaging here. But anyways, as of writing, um, multiple clips from Shake Like Me remain live on Adult Swim's YouTube channel, as seen through this article. Do you think these episodes should have been removed? What's your opinion on DeMarco's response? Let us know your thoughts on social media or in the comments down below. Now, mind you, as I was mentioning before, one of the points Yellow Flash had made, like when he did the video on it yesterday, I think, um, or the day before, he was talking about how because of the backlash in particular they're getting about Boondocks, since Boondocks is actually created by black creators, they may actually put those episodes back up with a trigger warning. So, um, anyways, I've never had a Twitter. Yeah, you don't really need it anonymity. I can tell you, you really can live without Twitter. Twitter is not the end all be all of all things. So, excuse me a moment, guys. Anyways, so we'll go back to the other story that I was going to hit on. Um, Aaron Magruder left. So did the soul of Boondocks. Was Aaron Magruder the guy who created Boondocks anonymity? See, I don't. For me, for the most part, most of Adult Swim's humor is not really my cup of tea. So I don't really watch a lot of it. I mean, I have in the past sat there flipping to the channel. I might, kind of peek at it for a second, but I never really like like followed it or watching it, as a regular thing. But um, but yeah, was Aaron Magruder one of the creators, one of the writers for it, or something like that? Okay. Yeah, and I feel yeah, but Boondocks isn't the Tim and Eric and Andre styles of comedy. Yeah, I mean, as I said, overall, most of like I'm not overly impressed with crude humor. And now I get it; it's Adult Swim, and a lot of adults do, particularly young adults, college age kids. They like um they like that kind of humor. They like potty humor, as some people might call it. You know, you know, depending upon the situation. I mean, yes, it's cute if, let's say, a 5-year old says something like that. Like I remember in the movie Kindergarten Cop with where Arnold Schwarzenegger went undercover as a kindergarten teacher. Okay, there's that one line in the movie the where the little boy stands up and goes, "Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina," and then all the kids started laughing. You know, so that's cute. But adults sitting there talking about such things, it's like, okay, it's again, not my cup of tea, but to each his own. Um, an American writer, lecturer, producer, screenwriter, um, and cartoonist, best known for writing and drawing the Boondocks. I guess you got that from the Wikipedia page, Woody. Woody, a Universal Press Syndicate comic strip and its animated TV series adaptation. Um, Plus, Charlie Murphy and John Witherspoon passed away. Yeah, John. I do know John Witherspoon. I think was one of the voices on there. I do know that. As I understand, I think wasn't he like the grandfather or something like that, or the old guy? Um, adap- Adaptation for which he was the creator, executive producer, and head writer. The Boondocks is more of a satirical outlook on Black life. Yeah, but unfortunately, with the way the current cultural climate is that even people can't make fun unless you're white, of course. Unless you're white, of course, you can't make fun of your own race. A black person can't make fun of their own race because it's racially insensitive. A Asian person can't make fun of their own race um, because it's racially insensitive. A Hispanic person can't make fun of their own race because it's racially insensitive. Kind of stupid, quite honestly. Um, I know what line you're going to say. Oh, are you referring to the line I was mentioning about from Kindergarten Cop? But the best line in Kindergarten Cop is the little girl saying her dad's head is so big that he can't wear any hats. um, yeah, granddad. Okay. So, going to show you I have at least a little bit of knowledge on stuff like that. Not a whole lot, but wow, we're so into the talk. I didn't realize this. We're over the hour mark already. Yay! Last night I was struggling to get to the hour mark. Tonight we're like flowing along real well. Even though I know people got in late tonight, but that's still cool. We got 5 people in here right now. In fact, yay for 5 people, and we're having a pretty lively discussion too. That's a good thing too. I'm even learning some things. As I said, I don't really follow or watch the Boondocks, but I'm learning stuff from you guys. So you guys learn stuff from me. I once in a while I learn stuff from you. It's a great experience to have. So, anyways, excuse me a moment again. Sorry, guys. My nose has been like dripping a bit, so it's kind of a nuisance. Okay, I'm back. Just give me a sec here while I take care of something real quick here. Okay, got taken care of. And I will be also mentioning something here a little later. Um, but anyways, um, on to our next story here. Report: Marvel Studios wanted to stay true to the character in casting Ms. Marvel actress Iman Vellani. Let's take a look here at this one. A new report claims that Marvel Studios and Disney wanted to stay true to the character when finding an actress to play Ms. Marvel for their upcoming Disney Plus series. The report comes from Deadline's Justin Kroll, who also revealed that Marvel Studios cast newcomer Iman Vellani to play Ms. Marvel, aka Kamala Khan, in the Disney Plus show. And then I guess here are some I guess here's some covers of Miss Marvel right here, or a cover with different, I guess, facial expressions and all that. Kroll detailed the plan always was to stay true to the character in finding the right actress to play the role, even if it meant offering a person that was not well known to the public. The report is interesting given that Marvel Studios and Disney have had no qualms changing the race. Okay, report is interesting given that Marvel Studios and Disney have had no qualms changing the races and genders of many of their other characters. I guess so, is since this is a quote unquote minority character, they of course want to um, utilize that. Bounding into Comics previously reported that they changed the majority of the cast for the upcoming Eternals film. The only characters that are similar to their comic book iterations are Richard Madden's Icarus, Angelina Jolie's Athena, and Brian Tyree Henry's Fastos. Um, they changed Makari into a deaf black female character portrayed by Lauren Ridloff. Um, as you can see in his first appearance in the Eternals #5, Makari is a white man who has no problems hearing. I guess this is the comic. You know, yeah, you're the facts, my dear. Um, but the analogy will do. You can see Makari. There is a mummy. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Makari. There is a human me. With me, she is under my protection. Kingo was changed from a character of Japanese descent into Indian, played by Kumali Najana. Um, as you can see in his first appearance, he dressed as a samurai. Hey, Licorice, I see that you and Makari have not yet neglected beauty in this grave hour. They also changed Ajak into a female of Hispanic and Lebanese origin, played by Salma Hayek. In his first appearance, Ajak is revealed to have lived among the ancient Inca Empire and is even referred to as the Inca hero Tecumseh, Tecumseh, um, which is a fictional hero created by Jack Kirby. Um, as you can see below, he is depicted as a white man with the same skin tone as Icarus. So here he is again. Gilgamesh was also changed to be an Asian character portrayed by Don Lee. In Gilgamesh's first appearance, he was referred to as the Forgotten One, who once roamed the world among the humans and shook it to improve their lot. He also toppled the palaces of tyrants and slew the beast they could not conquer. He was also a white man with dark, almost black hair. Um, a little sidebar there about Gilgamesh too. There actually is a legend, and I've read this. I actually read this back when I was going to college at some point in like literature class. There is a legend of Gilgamesh, involving being a great warrior who just had such a thirst for war that people would beg the gods to create somebody to help quench his thirst for war. So giving him a companion of sorts. So let's see. Let's see what you guys have to say before you get too far ahead of me here on the comments. Uh, let's see. Ugh, the whole only X can voice X thing is getting dumb. Yeah, I guess you're talking about 100% Dave. Oh, it's live action, whatever. Wasn't gonna watch that anyways. Um, Lame character. Um, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, Kamala Khan. Who gives PCs? Yeah. Well, from what I understand, I think Carol Danvers was the original Miss Marvel. Like when Miss Marvel was actually first created, I think it was Carol Danvers. Now, obviously, I don't read as much Marvel comics, but I guess now Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel, and now Kamala Khan is the current incarnation of Miss Marvel. Oh. When's Rogue going to put her behind in the hospital? My Gilgamesh will always be the sword wielding fantasy Final Fantasy character. Yeah, and there's also an anime called Gilgamesh that's a bit dark but pretty interesting. You guys want to check that out. The Legend of Gilgamesh is one of the greatest tales, isn't it? Yeah, it's considered one of the great legendary heroic tales of all time there, and it looks like we lost somebody. That's a shame, but we're down to four people again now. Uh, yes, I believe it's the oldest such hero legend. Yeah, I believe so too, Woody. It's even older than many of the Greek tales of like Odysseus and Hercules and all that. It's even older than that. I haven't actually looked into the Epic of Gilgamesh. I know um, the Iliad, Rama, King Arthur, Beowulf. Yeah, Gilgamesh precedes all of those. Gilgamesh precedes all of those there, Dave. I mean, you go back pretty close to the dawn of civilization to go back to Gilgamesh. So, anyways, continuing on with the article here. Finally, they also changed Sprite into a young female girl portrayed by Leah McHugh. In Sprite's first appearance in the Eternals #9, he's shown as a diminutive white man with reddish orange hair. Actually, the way they have him look here in the panel, he kind of reminds me because I remember, of course, I've mentioned having watched Marvel superheroes, the '60s Marvel superheroes cartoon. The way he's dressed, he actually reminds me of Loki from that. Um, if there is a quasi accurate cartoon of it, I'll check it out. Hmm. So as we continue to move on to these race and gender swaps in the Eternals are not the only race and gender swaps the Marvel Studios has made. The company has changed Heimdall, the Ancient One, Mordo, Ghost, Valkyrie, Hogan, Marvel, um, Ned Leeds, Flash Thompson, and Liz Allen. One has to wonder why they would want to find an actor that stays true to the character of Ms. Marvel when they seemingly don't feel that way with many of their other characters. Maybe I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say maybe because the character is already a a quote unquote underrepresented class. Uh, Miss Marvel is being written by Bisha K. Ali, who has called for internet conscription of men. Internet cons- what pray tell is that supposed to mean? Internet conscription of men. I don't even know what that even means. In a Facebook post, she asked, "Can we do internet conscription of men for men? You gotta enlist, buddy up with one troll each, and teach them to keep their vile threats to themselves." Oh, okay. You know, it's as in get into a military. Okay. Anyways, okay, now I understand what she's talking about. Kind of a stupid take, but anyways. Okay, so as we continue on with the okay, so I guess her Twitter handle is B Knavel. Okay. In another, she wrote, "I believe women can burn blank to the ground and rebuild it into the anti capitalist utopia of science and art and compassion I think we're all striving for." Oh, here's another SJW crying whining. As reported by Douglas Ernst, Ali also claimed that we live in strange and dangerous times. She elaborated, in the UK, a leadership that cares little for diversity and the most marginalized already, and across the pond, the systemic elevation of actual white ancestors with actual KKK credentials into positions of superpower. Oh boy. And then here's Douglas Ernst's tweet on it. Bishka K. Ali. Of course, her first name there reminds me of another word. I'm sure if you guys think about it enough, you will pick up on the word. Has to do with dogs and what rhymes with witch. Um, Whenever I hear Ms. Marvel, my boomer brain jumps to Miss Marple, Agatha Christie's little old lady crime solver. Oh, kind of like in the same vein as like Angela Lansbury. And I actually and a little history fact for you guys too. I know that Quality Comics actually had a cross-dressing individual who dressed up as a little old lady. The character was known as Madame Fatal or Madame Fatal. So, little interesting little tidbit for you. That was back in like the 40s. Weird synapses, Woody. Okay, so some interesting thoughts about the U.S. in 2016. Who is Ms. Marvel showrunner talking about here? And I guess he links an article here. 8 New Year's resolutions for brown artists who identify as women. Series will be directed by Adil El Arbi, Bilal Falah, Charmin Obaid Chinoy, and Mira Menon. What do you make of this report that claims Marvel wanted to stay true to the character of Miss Marvel? Why do you think Marvel wouldn't want to stay true to their other characters, but would in the case of Miss Marvel? Selective judgment, maybe? What do you guys think? Selective judgment? Maybe they feel Kamala Khan checks more boxes than the other characters. Must be Bullwinkle, Nemesis, Natasha, Fatal name reference. I don't know. Maybe Natasha Fatal could, because Madame Fatal predates Bullwinkle. Okay, I said it was back in like the 40s. Back in the 40s. Marvel, stay true. Well, we're back up to 5 people. That's cool. Oh, yeah, we're coming up on an hour and a half here, guys. Actually had a good stream tonight, a real good one. Good conversations. Um, so how are you guys doing thus far? Let's see what you guys are saying here. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. Because Kamala is their woke flagship character designed specifically for wokeness. Can't mess with the woke plan. Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. Even though I don't read as much Marvel. Um, but that is a very interesting take there. Lovely. Excuse me a moment here, guys. Okay, so some other little notations. I may have yeah, I'm not saying who yet because I'm just waiting for the full confirmation. But but I have some pretty near confirmations for the 16th and the 30th. So once I get those fully confirmed, I'll be letting you guys know. So there's a good chance I may have guests for the 16th and the 30th. I'm just waiting for the full confirmation. So hopefully those will pull through. And the late pro wrestler Kamala most definitely did not fit the woke narrative. Yeah. Well, I don't think anonymity or who said it? Who actually said it? Should make sure. Um, well, I think Dave responded to you. I don't think Dave was referring to the wrestler though, Woody. See, I think I'm about to give up on Sherlock reimagining Elementary, not because they made Watson a lady, not bothered, but Sherlock is about to join MI6. Um, that seems like a shark jump. Yeah. Yeah. And just to go back again to repeat what I just said, Woody, I don't think Dave was referring to the pro wrestler Kamala. He was referring to Kamala Khan, who is, I guess, the current incarnation of Miss Marvel or Ms. Marvel in in Marvel Comics. Okay. You know, so that's I think who he's referring to. I got you, Woody. Yeah, but I knew who you were talking about. um, but Woody's right there. I don't think Kamala was one of the Um, I need to use my sarcastic face smiley more. I need you. I need you youngsters to update me. uh, yes, us young kiddies. Yay! Uncle Woody! Yay! Uh, uh, let's see. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about or bring up? Let's see. I use extra long ellipses to denote sarcasm like this. Well, I use funny voices and and tones to indicate humor or sarcasm. Kind of like Flash when he's doing a parody of those uppity SJWs who are drinking their tea with a pinky and all that, with the pinky extended. Uh, Gives me a moment. Oh, we're already past an hour. Okay, so once more, I ask this again. Is there anything else you guys want to ask about or talk about tonight? Okay, it looks like you guys, a couple of you said something here. I try to make my sarcastic statements overly sarcastic if I'm not familiar with who's seeing them. I watched Enola Holmes last night. A little heavy on the feminism, but it's literally Sherlock for girls. Um, so I got so I get that they're pandering. How's oh God, I don't even really think about her. Um, Granted, a couple times since we last talked, I went to see what she may have been saying on her Twitter, but she's just talking comic. She's not even really getting all that involved. And I do mean girls, not women. It's basically a kids movie. All right. All right. So we're past the hour and a half mark here. There's really nothing else of substance. Are you guys ready for this day in niche history? I think I'm about ready to wrap things up here. We're in the last part of the show here. Um, are you guys ready for niche history? For this? Of course. What happened today, Mike? Okay, so there are some. Granted, Couldn't find anything on anime today, but all the other topics are covered today: comics, manga, and or comics, cartoons, and the cartoon one is going to be a real historical one. Um, Pretty significant historical. Sure, hit us up with some history. And of course, some pro wrestling as well. So, without no further ado, let's go ahead and just check through some stuff here. Let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to take you guys back 60 years ago today. So, Woody, this is in your neck of the woods, actually, my friend. 60 years ago today, the Flintstones. On this date in 1960, the Flintstones made their debut on ABC. But it was not on a Saturday morning. Let me read this because this is a pretty significant thing. The Flintstones is an American animated sitcom produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions. The series takes place in the romanticized Stone Age setting and follows the activities of the title family, the Flintstones, and their next door neighbors, the Rubbles, who are also their best friends. It was originally broadcast on ABC from September 30th, 1960 to April 1st, 1966, and was the first animated series to hold a primetime slot. So that's one of the more significant things. Long before 27 years before The Simpsons, we get the Flintstones. And as I understand it, 1 or 2 years later, Top Cat would also debut first on in prime time. These were like animated, um, these were animated sitcoms, as they called them. Okay. Um, as I understand it, the way most people describe the Flintstones, it's like kind of an animated version of the Honeymooners. Oh, nice. I do remember Fred used to do cigarette commercials and bumpers. Yeah, I mean, now remember, this was long before The Simpsons, long before Futurama, long before American Dad, King of the Hill, The Cleveland Show, Adult Swim, The Flintstones. Now, so I don't know how many. I know that when I was watching the Flintstones, they were already syndicated and they were like put on during the day. But by today's standards, they're considered more cartoons. Um, Back then, they were considered um, Flintstones was considered um, an animated sitcom and did adhere to a number of the social norms of the time, late 50s, 60s, including if you remember that, because I remember them talking about this with like I Love Lucy as well, where even when you had married couple, when you were portraying married couples, they still had separate beds. Same thing here. You know, ha ha ha! I love watching old ads. Yep. So on this date in 1960, of course, we were introduced to Fred, Wilma, Barney, and Betty. The Flintstones made their debut. Um, and another key thing about the Flintstones too is the number of the Hollywood stars at the time who would make cameos in the show. You know, you had the cast. You'd had remember you had Samantha and Derek of Bewitched show up on there. It had and Jillian, I believe, was another one. Of course, Harvey Keitel, I believe, was the guy who did, or Harvey Korman was the guy who did the voice of the Great Gazoo later in the series. Um, let's see, he had like Cary Grant, aka Cary Grant. So that's another interesting tidbit about that as well for the time. So on this date, 60 years ago, on ABC, the Flintstones made their debut. Um, Here's another little paragraph I'll read here real quick. The continuing popularity of the Flintstones rests heavily on its juxtaposition of modern everyday concerns in the Stone Age setting. The Flintstones was the most financially successful and longest running network animated television series for 3 decades until The Simpsons, which debuted in late 1989. Okay, I thought it was 80s. Well, I think they made, yeah, 80. Okay. Because The Simpsons had a spot on the Tracy Ullman show, and that's what I was thinking. But apparently, their own show debuted in late '89, so that's my bad. So that's more like 29 years before. Well, no, still technically 27 years. Outlasted it. In 2013, TV Guide ranked The Flintstones the second greatest TV cartoon of all times after The Simpsons. So there you go. On this date in 1960, 60 years ago, we were introduced to the Flintstones on ABC Primetime. Now let's look ahead to some other stuff here. I was just thinking about the separate beds thing while you were talking about the Adult Swim self censorship. Feels like we're regressing soon. You won't be able to show a toilet on TV. Yeah, well, these things kind of go in cycles, though, from what I understand. The classic script for success. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. Have a yabba dabba doo time, a dabba doo time. We'll have a gay old time. And in this case, the term gay means happy. It doesn't mean being interested in your own gender. So just a little etymology there for you guys. On Dave said something else. Let's see what he has to. I Dream of Jeannie, belly button scandal. Yep, that would. And Jeannie, I think, made a number of appearances on a number of different. She had her own Hanna Barbera cartoon as well, but she also made some appearances on Scooby Doo and the like. So censorship is a bad word. So, anyways, moving on then. Move on to move 20 years into the future here. We go to 1980, which was 40 years ago today. And on this date, we were talking about Marvel Studios and what it's become earlier, taking a look a little bit at Marvel's past. On this date, 40 years ago in 1980, the 50th issue of Spidey Super Stories would go on to newsstands at 50 cents. It was 32-page comic book. The stories that were, and I've already checked, there's no synopses for these, but the stories that were in these featured the Rhino's Day in Court, the Fortune Tellers, and the Man with a Thousand Faces. And if you see there, I guess She-Hulk was in the issue. You could see her, Spidey, and Rhino there, all in a bit of a three-way fight. Not what some people would think a three-way is today, but the three-way fight. So on this date, 40 years ago, the 50th issue of Spidey Super Stories would go on sale on newsstands. The classic She-Hulk, the the Butch new one is a disgrace. Yeah, I mean, I even remember. Well, okay, as I said, I don't read as much Marvel comics, but I do. I have watched the Marvel cartoons of the 80s and 90s and all that. I remember like the She-Hulk from the 90s Hulk cartoon, and she was a very good-looking woman there. And an interesting thing that even though she transforms into a Hulk, she still maintains her humanity there. She maintains her full intelligence and her humanity. Um, where the Incredible Hulk loses much of his intelligence and has more of an innocence to him. But anyway, so with that being said, moving on to the next piece of niche history. Um, on this date 20 years ago, in the year 2000, okay, Kurt Hennig would defeat Carly Colon. For those of you wrestling fans, Carly Colon, you know him better as Carlito Caribbean Cool Colon, or Carlito Caribbean Cool. Um, he's, of course, the son of Carlos Colon, the founder of World Wrestling Council. Well, Kurt Hennig would beat him for the World Wrestling Council Universal Heavyweight Championship, their top title. So on this date, 20 years ago, Kurt Hennig would would defeat Carly Colon for the World Wrestling Council Universal Heavyweight Championship. So that that is all of the history I have for you guys tonight. So did you guys have fun? Excuse me a moment. Say we had after kind of a lackluster night last night, we had a pretty lively night tonight. Just too bad Batgoat and ADC weren't able to join us. I'm sure they would have probably had fun with some of the stuff we were talking about. Um, so okay, let's see. Not familiar with them, of course. Uh, last night I was watching debates. Yeah, I know a lot of people were. Um, I watched portions of. I even went back this morning and rewatched the debate so I could really sit there and listen to what they were actually saying. Cool beans. Albeit, and I told Woody this earlier tonight. Um, it's going to be one of the rare times you guys are going to hear me actually swear, deliberately swear here. So remember this, okay? Last night's debate was a clusterfuck, okay? Bottom line, it was a clusterfuck. I'm sure we all agree. Ooh, Mike, yes, I will swear on occasion. I usually prefer not to because it generally, unless you're trying to make a point or unless you're trying to be funny, um, swearing just a sign of the lack of intelligence at times. So Um, unless, of course, you're trying to be funny or trying to make a point. But anyways, um, cool beans. I saw that. Um, I'm going to sleep, y'all. Be excellent to each other. See you. I hope to see you tomorrow, David. And guys, as I said before, I have some close confirmations on some guests for the upcoming weeks on the 16th and the 30th. Hopefully, once I get the full confirmations, I can make those announcements. So, um, see what else you guys are saying here. Have a good one, Dave. Um, I dad see Action Toys was here for you last night. Yeah, he was. I mean, um, see, say what you want about it. I felt it had to be that way. Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly at this point. I don't think any. I think everybody's pretty much already. I think the election's already pretty much done. If you really think about it, because I think everybody's already made their decision on who they're going to vote for. Okay, I think everybody. There's not. I don't think there's much substance we're going to get from any of these debates. Um, it's just going to be war. So, but a lot of the most intelligent people swear. Not all, but a lot. Oh yeah, people do swear like when they're upset. Even I do. So true, true. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for joining me. Um, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. Bye. Thank you again.